Although nearly 2 weeks have passed, the devastation caused by the twin major earthquakes on June 24th in Venezuela is unmistakable. More than 50,000 structures were damaged by 92 seconds of continuous ground motion, and at least 100 structures completely collapsed, but the true cost is the human toll. While official fatalities have just about reached 3,000, I suspect now that the death toll is in the tens of thousands. The only slightly good news to report is that there are no longer about 68,000 people reported missing from the magnitude 7.2 and magnitude 7.5 earthquakes. Thousands were successfully rescued from collapsed or damaged structures, and others were found alive but were just out of contact due to internet and cellular outages. Thus, no longer are 68,000 people missing, but rather between 41,000 and 50,000. I'm sad to say that I personally suspect at least half of those missing, if not more, to in truth represent fatalities. I hope I'm wrong, but at this point it's just been too long for me to personally remain hopeful. Looking back at footage of the earthquakes, I noticed something about some of the structures that collapsed. And yes, what I'm about to say is speculation and purely my opinion. It seems that some structures collapsed almost the exact moment the S-waves or surface waves hit them, collapsing far too quickly in my opinion, even compared to what might be expected from a completely hypothetical structure that didn't have proper reinforcement and was constructed without earthquake building codes in mind. Something just seems wrong with some of the structures that collapsed, almost like they were far too rigid, acting almost as a single block. During a major earthquake, especially with taller structures, earthquake-resistant structures are designed to sway and also have some of their force absorbed via some natural flexing and bending of building materials. This is why wood single-story structures tend to fare far better during a major earthquake than a solid single-story brick structure if both are hypothetically unreinforced. While I cannot prove that what I just speculated about the Venezuelan structures is accurate, and my viewers should keep this in mind, I could be incorrect after all, something just seemed wrong in my opinion. It's best for scientists to find out if I'm correct and if so, why, so that a purely hypothetical similar magnitude earthquake striking in about the same spot in the future won't be as severely damaging and deadly. Various agencies have also made updated damage estimates, and those figures range anywhere from $6.7 billion to $37 billion US. My own personal estimate suggests around $13.1 billion US. You can see how additional data from the earthquakes as the days progressed increased the area and number of people who lived in areas suspected as having potentially experienced landslides and/or liquefaction. If it is correct that two earthquakes 38 seconds apart rather than a singular larger earthquake is what occurred on June 24th, it suggests the following. That the 7.2 earthquake caused a 58-kilometer long fault line segment to slip by up to 65 centimeters or 2.1 feet, and that the 7.5 earthquake caused a 197-kilometer long fault line segment to slip by up to 2 meters or 6.6 feet. However, some models have suggested a lesser length slipped, albeit at a greater amount, so if you see differing figures, that will be because each of those are still plausible. Although the earthquake rupture was almost perfectly horizontal, it wasn't a true perfect horizontal slip, meaning that a very small degree of vertical motion also occurred in some spots. Because of this, and the fact that some segments of the San Sebastian fault that slipped were offshore, the slight upward motion created displacement of overlying water, generating a tsunami. Thankfully, the tsunami was very, very small, but still counted as one, peaking in height at a mere 7.6 centimeters or 3 inches. While there has been some debate on what exactly the maximum intensity ground acceleration was from these earthquakes, I honestly haven't seen any evidence of higher than a 9.0, perhaps a 9.4 if we are being generous. While some people have suggested highly localized MMI 10 or MMI 11 damage, I looked at the same evidence and could not see evidence of such. The definitions of those MMI intensities, in my opinion, were not met, and besides, an MMI 10 or 11 is just so much more destructive than MMI 9. I don't like reporting on these types of high fatality disasters.